Technically,
I mean,
we could recap.
Yeah, we could, yeah, because we only lost.
Yeah.
I will say. This will act. I thought last time would be the last episode on the slide. I think I'm gonna make this episode the last one on the slide because I don't want to. Oh, new title card. What did we do on the first session? We talked for like 2 hours, and that was like a really short session. Yeah, I was like, no, let's not do that. I don't want to begin the new title card on that note. So we'll hold out for later. Yeah, we'll hold out for later. We did 5 different recaps in the same session. 6 if we include last week's.
Yeah.
And then 13 for the NPC, so that's
Oh
a
my gosh,
grand total
yeah.
of 19 recaps.
Jesus. I'll be awake until I start my next shift.
The NPCs are a lot shorter than your guys'.
Give me a book.
I mean, those ones that are even here. Because you can't hear the words of a dead man. The conch be like, let me introduce myself.
Excuse me, Crash. It's called a will.
Damn,
It's,
he's right.
Those
yeah.
aren't words, are they? You don't hear them.
Yeah, someone usually reads about.
They're not words.
They're not words of the dead. They're words that anyone could falsify. like a very clever lawyer, or a really clever psychopathic relative. Anyways. So yeah, what happened last time?
Well, we all went to the bathroom at the same time. Technically not wrong.
I forgot we did that. Anyway.
Where's my fucking notebook? There it is.
Oh,
I think we started in the capital.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we're at the capital. Finished up our business there. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 2
Feels
weeks
longer
ago.
somehow. Okay, let me get
I
my
mean,
notes.
fairness, like it's like we didn't play last week, and you guys had your own mini session this week, or your own personal session this week, right? So it probably
Yeah.
was that way. Probably feels longer because of that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what I have written down. We started in the capital, doing final preparation situations. A few people went to meet the royal bishop, including what was it? Varric requested something. I think he requested to like help with the procedures that are going with the ghosts in our accompaniment. Royal Bishop said no, obviously.
No, he did. I mean, it wasn't requesting it from the bishop. It's more over petitioning for it.
Petitioning,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an official like requisition as opposed to, hey, yo, can I bum a cigarette? Right? It's
Fair
like it's basically guaranteed unless you fuck up like the interview. Which is why he was very mindful of like, hey, watch what you fucking say. Because that is like the breaking point. If one of you guys starts acting like a necromancer or something, then yeah, that petition would be worthless.
Man, that'd be fucking wild, having someone acting like a necromancy.
I know, right? A wild concept.
Yeah, so it was more or less guaranteed aside from you fucking yourself in the last possible moment.
Yeah. But we still had to... I think the way it was phrased was to have almost like a sit-in kind of protest. I'm getting too caught up in the weeds. We went to talk to Royal Bishop. Mostly just interacting with them. Sajar set up the Temple of Heartbroken Alicia to... I guess just seek like some deeper thought, like some personal introspective as well as get advice from other people.
Get some
He bumped
closure.
into some closure. That's a good way to put it. He kind of just bumped into just a very nice lady with some guards and her child, and that person was definitely not anyone important at all. Definitely not the queen.
Oh. Nah, the queen? Nah.
Nah, what world would you just happen to be at the temple the same time as a queen and be able to get into the temple without any struggle? Come on, that'd be crazy. I think I have just in my notes, it just says, that ... was the queen. Because I feel that summarized everyone's reaction to hearing that. Silas, all I have is, they did some street performance and had some family time. Was there anything in there that I'm missing? I feel like I'm probably missing stuff if I wrote down something so brief.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't remember off the top of my head. I can look at my notes while you continue, but...
Okay.
While you're in the capital, not family time because they're back. In
Yeah, that was
Budos.
after.
I think while we were in the
you-
capital, we all had the Nightmare Imperium. A vision for some people, weird sense for others.
Not Nightmare Imperium, but Nightmare Visage.
Nightmare Visage.
Yeah, and there's a reason I make that distinction, because it's saying Nightmare Imperium makes it sound like you're there. No, quite the opposite.
It's
here.
And that's not good. I don't think I have to tell you why. Vaso's crew lived. Along with the Nightmare Vision, we ended up getting kind of on a Discord voice call, and we all talked about it. I was like, the fuck are we gonna do? And it's like, we're going down the Aspire path. It's like, yeah, you're right. Because Jesus, we need to go. We end up regrouping in Duvros, and we all have kind of like a final day of well wishes, talking to each other,
Shenanigans.
setting up shenanigans, setting up last will and testaments in small degrees. If anybody wants to like go over their specific thing, feel free to hop in. Because a lot of, pretty much all of us talk to different NPCs at different times for different things. And if it's not that important,
No.
we can go on. Yeah. No, I won't.
No, I don't think I will.
Yeah. So, after having that little get together, we all decide that we're going to just bring every NPC because it's better to not have them lacking, kind of thing.
Except Hafren, because she can't go.
Except Hafren.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hafren. Sorry, bud.
She wanted to go.
Your mom said your mom said no.
Your
Your
non-existent
cosmic mother said no.
Kinda. Fun out-of-game thing that Crash mentioned was, hey, Silas, if you didn't help Abigail with her thing, they were gonna get the key and kick you guys into the Aspiring Path while you were sleeping. And it's like, oh, you made the right choice.
She would have tried at the very least. Alexander does have a jacked perception. In fairness, though,
So
he
even when
would have
he's
been
sleeping?
asleep. Well, the thing is, when you're asleep, it constitutes as like auto-failing, but I give you like a disadvantage, because advantage is +5, so disadvantage would thus be -5. I would basically test it against his passive perception, right? Your
Okay.
slumbering perception.
And Abigail isn't,
No.
well, I mean, maybe she's a bit stealthier.
So at the
Was.
lowest it would be 15. At the highest it'd be 20.
It wouldn't be
So there's a
sight-based.
chance.
Yeah, it would have been sound-based.
That's a blast.
That's
But that didn't happen. Instead, we
yeah,
just
that didn't
lost
happen.
Abigail.
Instead, she found her own way into the Nightmare Imperium.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
Eh. Well, fucked up another one. How many can we get in there?
We
We
think we
hop.
can hit a streak with 3.
Let's not and pay attention to the needs of our coworkers. Coworkers? That's kind of how we treated them, honestly. Let's be honest.
Mm.
I think that depends on which one of you I point at.
Yeah. So we went to. For some reason, Alessandra decided to pick the bathroom. And we put the key in the door. Step through, and see on the other side our good friend. I'm gonna say his name wrong if I say it. Can someone say it?
Niall.
Niall, thank you. See? We bump into Niall, as if that makes it sound like it was unplanned. He was there waiting, picking a flower, tosses the flower to the side, and guides us down the path of the aspirant. Well, I guess kind of mildly tricks us down that direction. Alexander does go pick up the flower to see, just what his little game was pointing out, and he hasn't told us because, well, we just didn't have time to talk about it. So, Alexander knows something. We all go down the path to the aspirant. At a certain point, we end up catching up with Niall, and at that point is when we realize there's no one else around.
Is it Niall or Neil? Am I stupid?
It's not Neil.
Okay, Niall. Yeah, okay.
I know.
It's not the second one.
And I say this now because again, my company has a Niall. I met him. He's like 6'6" and Irish as fuck. He's great. I love him. He always talks in a cadence. Always talking about fuel and logistics and supply. I make that promise to you that he talked like that. Every time he spoke, I fell in love.
I'm sorry, Lois. I must leave you for the Irishman.
Yeah, so yeah, inadvertently I picked a name of someone that I would meet shortly in real life. My cosmic power grows.
Yeah.
So it is Nile.
No,
By the real
because
world pronunciation.
It's in relation to, like, not denial, but nihilism. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember things. Anyways, we discover we're on the path by ourselves, and even Nile disappears, and we all start walking away from the darkness that is slowly encroaching into whatever is going to happen next. And
Yes.
that's where I don't have any more notes. Well, I have my own notes, but I don't have notes for you guys.
Oh, now the fun begins. Okay. I gave you guys a heads up of exactly the order we'd be going upon.
Good luck, Kirsty.
I gave you guys a heads up that you will be reciting what happened. You guys are free to be as cut and dry or as dramatic and flurry as possible. But at the end of the day, you guys will have to finish out your story and inform everyone if you ran or if you stumbled on the path. So, Kirsty, you lead us. Dreamer, Kirsty, you lead us off with Anushka.
Yeah. Well, where do I begin my terrifying tale of woes, I guess?
If you need backup, if any of you guys need backup on explaining things, I am here, but it is more relied upon your guys' memory and notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might
it's been
need
2
a
weeks.
yeah.
I also
Yeah,
recognize that for some of you, it was like in the middle of the fucking night, so.
Yes. Or 4 a.m. But that's what. Yeah, I might need to help.
You, Fred, and Cop, for a similar reason, we're all like, damn, we'd be late. We'd be out here.
I know. Like, what are we doing?
It's crazy.
Okay. Right. So let me think. So yeah. So pretty much, Anushka entered the aspiring path. She was walking along. I think realized she was on her own. I think pretty much, wasn't it? And then she came about a forest. I mean, she's a ranger. That makes sense, I guess. Forest was a bit off, I guess. Would be a good description. First thing she noticed, the foliage around her, like the ferns, grass, bushes, that kind of thing, was saturated in blood. It's very. Plants were mutated, things were just wrong, I guess. The scenery around her was, like, similar to the world that she's from, but not quite. And then that's where she started to put the dots together that maybe she's not in Kansas anymore. Let me think. So I'm looking at my notes and trying to, like, figure it out. So she, pretty much, first thing she's like, okay, is this something to do with her dreaded fell god that she wants to just piss off, or with Serafina, was it? Child of Serafina?
Zarina, the Noblade Zarina.
Zarina, that's it. Yeah. I don't know why I've got it written down as that, but anyway.
Ezarina, the female version of Azar.
That's not how I've spelt it, which is interesting. But anyway, apart from that, so originally she thought maybe it was something to do with that. That got ruled out pretty quickly. It was very similar to Voidic corruption, would that be correct?
In the sense that it's corrupting, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Not in any way that it's Voidic, no.
Okay, that's fine. So, yeah, sort of deep-rooted corruption. There was mosquito hives in the trees. Very plump, like, just suckered onto trees and just horrible. She had no clue where she was exactly. Didn't know where to go to start with, and was kind of scratching her head, like, where do we go from here? So naturally she tries to climb a tree. So she climbs this tree. Has to avoid, like, these massive big, like, mosquito hive bump things in case they, like, come at her, essentially. Climbs up to the top, has a look around. She can see, I believe it was 3 things. There was an area of very thick thorns that didn't seem to have any sort of corruption towards them. And it was thick to the point that she didn't think she'd be able to get through. Another part was a swamp red with blood. And a third one was a plume of smoke. Yeah. So naturally she thinks the white smoke's probably a person. I feel like a person would be good backup at this point, so that's where she heads. She starts heading in that direction. She can't exactly lock directly onto the plume of smoke because she can't see it from the tree line, but she sort of starts making her way over. And then she hears this very faint buzzing, I guess, that's just coming closer and closer and closer to where she is, and naturally immediately hits the panic button. It sounds very big, it sounds very buzzy, and it's coming directly for her. So first thought is to hide in the bushes and pray to God it passes her by. I'm trying to remember exactly what this thing. I believe it was she was in the bushes, she heard it sort of wandering around. It had very heavy footsteps. Or did it? I think she heard the buzz of wings, and then it was the landing, and then footsteps and all that. And it literally made a beeline straight for her.
Fucking bee.
Yeah. And let's
Not
just
a
say
bee.
yeah, I know, but you know what I mean, though, right? And basically, she gets attacked before she sees it. This large thing, basically, just this massive, big protruding thing that's almost like a needle, I guess, just goes straight for her. She didn't stand a chance. Let's be honest, didn't even stand a chance. I mean, when you're ducking in bushes, they can't even see the thing. Like, what are you expecting? She gets basically stabbed in the shoulder, and this thing then proceeds to suck out her blood like she's a little tub of juice. She is able to get away. They have a scuffle. A very short scuffle. This thing is basically a very, very, very large mosquito monstrosity horror, whatever the fuck it was.
It's a mix of like imagine like a mosquito in terms of like, you know, weird eyes and stuff like that. It did have 6 eye sockets of similar eyes. It did have 2 sets of wings different from a mosquito. About as big as a carriage, maybe a bit bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one detail I remember. It's just, it was fucking massive.
It was very massive and more akin to like a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Mosquito
And, like-
pterodactyl, let's go.
Yeah. So I think like Anushka initially tried to sort of fight it off, and then realised that just wasn't going to happen. Like, I think it was like immediately when she shot it, it basically just healed, didn't it, from like what she... From what
I mean,
took
if
from her.
it stopped hitting you, it would have stopped healing. It just kept hitting you.
Yeah, it kept hitting her, yeah.
Yeah.
Without like so much of a pause. I think it hit her like, what, twice? 3 times? Something like that?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. It was a lot. So after that, she was just kind of like, nope, fuck that. She screamed bloody murder, just hoping beyond hope that whatever that plume of smoke is over in the distance, it's going to hear her, and it's going to be a friendly plume of smoke, and it's going to come and assist. That was her plan. Scream for bloody murder and run. So she just took off running, took off screaming. Didn't even know if she had her gun on her, you know, didn't even know if she was running in the right direction. She was just running. But the thing unfortunately caught up with her. And stabbed her again. At this point, she's like, I think we rolled a death save or something, didn't we? Like, she was not looking good.
Yep. Looking
Like-
pretty rough.
Yeah. Like, genuinely, I thought that was, you know, this was the first hour, and I genuinely thought this was it. Like, already.
Oh no.
Thought it was,
Like,
meaning.
I know.
right?
I was just like, yes, okay.
Shit.
Yeah. And then I stayed on with Crash for another 4 hours to make it think that she survived. No.
Yeah, we're there for 5 hours for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows why.
Funzy.
Just to fool you. No. She was falling in and out of consciousness, possibly dying. Luckily, she was able to get out of it. As she was aided by a mysterious figure. I don't remember how he exactly entered the scene, but he pretty much was, for the most part, undetected by the horrible mosquito thing. Oh God, how did he? Wait a minute, my little notes.
Yeah, it's some very, very, very specialized gear.
Yeah. No, I've not written it down. God damn it! Right. Yeah. So yeah, he turned up with some very specialized gear. Was able to. I don't think he fought it off, did he? I think he was able
No.
to conceal. Yeah, he could concealed Anushka, I think, and was able to distract the thing long enough. And then he gave her some gear
He threw a highly oversaturated blood.
That was it.
cocktail,
That was it. Yeah. Distracted it and then pretty much hoofed it with
and
Anushka.
then hid your guys' heartbeats.
Yes.
'Cause
He revealed that.
that's the main thing. Yeah, the thing detects you guys by heartbeat.
hmm Yeah, he revealed that it's her heartbeat. That's yeah.
So to those of you that were in the Colonial games, not the first time you guys have seen a creature do that. Heartbeat sense.
Yep.
The Ali Hal Ghoul had that for 3
Oh,
miles.
it didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I was able to know where you guys are 3 miles away, because it could actually detect your heartbeat when it screamed.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
There's a reason why, if you guys ever encounter an Ali Hal Ghoul in the setting, they usually wipe out towns. But that's by themselves. So,
What a
yeah.
freak.
But,
I could take him, in theory.
What?
No.
Oh, is it not-
No.
It isn't looped.
It
Trust me.
oh
loves.
shit, oh, it wasn't looped. Oh, what?
Oh,
But
oh,
no, it's
okay.
third. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I looped the
Oh, well.
last one. That's one. Oh.
Ah.
Silly
Right, well, that's a
me.
simple. That's a simple.
Silly me.
Oh,
I-
well.
That's on me. That's on me.
Oh,
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
okay. So pretty much, he leads her through the forest, like this horrible, dead, corrupted forest, and leads her towards this cairn, I believe it was. A cairn, yeah.
Like a mound.
Yeah.
Burial mound.
It was some sort of burial mound. Yeah, he takes her inside, and it's like sort of got this setup of like essentially like it's just like supplies, weapons, that kind of thing, like a sort of pit stop, I guess, almost. And they sort of have a chat. He introduces himself as Seton. Sort of youngish looking guy. Sort of says that they are currently within the twins, which, Anushka's just like, she'll be a bap, I don't believe that.
Just when you thought the twins couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, it got fucking worse.
The place is alive with mutation and corruption and giant mosquitoes.
Yeah, horrific giant mosquitoes. Just never look at mosquito the same way again. Anyway, so he basically just sort of like info dumps, I guess. So pretty much he explains that this whole world is corrupted, essentially by vampiric overlords, who have more or less like I've got written down swallowed the moon with something. No, swallowed the moon. No, we swallowed the sun.
They didn't swallow anything, technically. They just sort of forced a blood moon.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So they have, it's like constant dusk, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No sunlight ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for a vampire.
Yeah, it makes it very convenient for them. Very, very convenient.
It's great.
So it says that it expands over pretty much the entirety of the twins. And that his advice was pretty much, if you want to find your way out of it, because Anushka says she's looking for an exit, your best bet is to, head south. Anushka's obviously like, I don't think that's my exit, but thanks for the advice. They sort of chat for a bit, find out there's a vampire lord called Abrium that Seton is very keen on unaliving. He's wanting to try and make it to the, Bramblewood sort of place I mentioned earlier, where it looks like you can't enter. There is an area there that he wants to get into, and he wants to get a shard, which can essentially kill the vampire overlords, or at least in that area. And that's I think what he was working up to doing at that point. So Anushka's like, I'm gonna help. He's like, you can head south. Anushka's like, I'm gonna help. So he makes it a bit.
I'm gonna help. You cannot. I'm gonna.
Yeah. You think I'm not, but I'm gonna. He makes it very clear though that like she's got to hold up her own weight, and she is missing an awful lot of blood at this specific moment in time. And probably will die. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna help. So they sort of dust that off. I believe he gives her something to help cover her heartbeat. And then they both set out. So he sort of collects up all the stuff, packs up the burial mound, I guess, and leaves like small supplies for anyone that comes by later on. Like, you get like checkpoints and stuff for other travelers. And off they set. So they head on through the corrupted woods again. They don't come across any hill mosquitoes or whatever, and eventually come across this massive big bramble like wall thing essentially. I don't remember exactly how tall it was, but I remember it being quite significant.
Just like,
yeah.
somewhere around like 300 feet.
Oh yeah, just casually.
Yeah,
Just casually, just a wee 300 feet.
Just a 30-story tall like bramble thing that's like 50 feet thick. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Just casual, yeah. Just
no biggie.
I mean, I just could climb that. It's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Given that she's wearing gloves, of course. But anyway, so okay. So pretty much, they start trying to work out how to get in. They sort of, Anushka just kind of brazenly just walks forward, and she pretty much immediately almost gets noped by these like not guards, but they're
Sentries, what you're looking for.
sentries. Yeah, kind of Well, Anushka thought they were similar in a way to forgotten her name.
I believe in you.
Oh, I don't. Selena? No. Fuck, I've forgotten her name.
Audience? Do you know what she's talking about?
Celine.
There you go.
Oh, it's just okay. Oh, I mean, I heard it right.
Right there. I make that
Added a
mention
little
because there is a
extra spice.
Selena in our Sunday game, which showed up around the same time, and it always trips me up.
Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of extra razzle dazzle in there. Anyway, so Anushka thought, yeah. So Anushka, they basically just attacked like on sight, really, which isn't much of a surprise considering that things have been like these mosquito things and like other creatures. I think were basically just attacking this wall constantly, like they are desperate to get in. So they are also after the shard that Seton is after. So they do kind of have to sneak about a bit so they're not seen, obviously. And Anushka, her initial plan was, I could talk to these guys. They're like Celine. They must be able to chat. And Seton's like, no, don't do that. Anushka's like, I could do that. Seton's like, don't do that. I'm pretty sure she went to make a move again, got hit, and then was like, I'm not going to do that. They then set about trying to find... So Seton says there is an entrance somewhere that the people who... The druids, even, who created this area, which I forgot to mention. They're druids that... Yeah. They are looking to sort of cure this thing. They're within there. There is an entrance that they use in order to get in and out. And Seton has managed to narrow it down to certain entrances. So they spend some time trying to figure out which entrance is which without getting stabbed by a plant sentinel. Which eventually they do manage. They sort of find the entrance. I think it ended up being like sort of just off the ground, enough that they could get through. I don't remember exactly how they opened it, but they got through anyway. They start marching through, and that is when the pre-aforementioned vampire overlord Abrium decides to show up. With a very dashing pair of sunglasses, I might add, as well, which I thought was a nice touch.
I would say it is Abramov. Abramov. Abramov.
Abramov, okay, that's fine. Apologies. Abram. Okay, that's fine. I only had Abram down, but that's my fault. Right. So, yeah, Abramov turns up.
Abram is his nickname.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so he turns up. And it's clear there's a bit of history between Seton and Abramov. Anushka didn't really go into it. I think she felt that there was bigger worries at this particular moment in time. But one of the things he did mention was that he was curious why Seton was still going by that name. I believe there's... I can't believe me. There was something else that was revealed. What was it? I think it was somebody important had died or something like that. I can't remember exactly though, which is really annoying because I didn't write it down. I think I was too excited listening at the time, but that's besides the point. But yeah, there's some back and forth. There's definitely a confrontation. They sort of start to make a move, and then Abrium triggers one of the traps inside the druid's sort of hold, I guess, and gets sucked underground. So they pretty much take, so Anushka and Setin pretty much take this moment just to hoof it. So the way that this area is set up is that there's like... Would tiers be a good way of describing it? Would you reckon?
Yeah.
It's like sort of it's like this sort of circular area with like multi-layered, and then what we're after the shard is in the dead center. So it was like, and it was also a different environment for each one. So the first one, I believe, was thorns. The second one was woodland or trees. The third one was I know what it is. I can picture it in my head. I can't bloody word it.
Like grain.
Wheat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fields.
wheat. Yeah, like golden fields. Yes, I can picture in my head. But, like, my words just aren't coming out. Anyway, so they're like, okay, we need to get through this before he gets out of that hole. Anushka immediately falls into a trap, and also naturally, and also falls into the ground. At this point, she's completely lost track of Set, and she's got no idea where he is. He's just off living his best life, trying to get across this thing in one piece. Anushka's like, what, 10 feet underground? Something like that?
20.
20. Oh god, what I thought.
You had 5 feet of space where you were, and then 15 feet of earth covering you above. You just got buried alive.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. So she's kind of stuck at this point. She's thinking, she has no idea how to get out of this. She can't exactly dig. It's 20 feet of soil. You know, it's compressing her. She's obviously going to be having trouble breathing down there. And that's when she remembers that she has her new reverie that has not actually come into play yet, as she's not been in a fight that's required it so far. So this finally got some usage, which is essentially she is able to create a field of force with her gun that originally was made to either knock an enemy back a certain amount of feet, or on a specific die I think I was thinking of, cause them to go prone. Instead, she uses this to blast a big ass hole in the ground above her, which she does. She does this twice, rather successfully, and is able to crawl out the hole. And at this point, she does start to just book it down this field, I guess, of thorns. And then she has the thought of, I could just skip all of this entirely. Because I happened to make a joke purchase a while ago of a broom of flying. Which I totally forgot we had until I was panicking and realised I had this in my... So yeah, that got some use at last.
Woohoo!
So she whips out this broom of flying, just casually. I'm assuming it's like one of these compact ones you just whip out.
No, it probably is an actual broom. like there's no compact. There's like Harry Potter.
I know, but I just love the thought of like having this compact broom she's just been using this whole time.
Nope, you just had a normal broom on your back this whole time.
She just had it like hanging out. Everyone's just been like, "What's wrong with her?" Nobody knows. Don't ask.
Instead of
She's a cleaning
broom
lady.
in your gun case.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably fit in your rifle shroud.
Yeah,
so.
probably. It's like some people have it's like a gangster. Like some people have guns inside the filing cases. No, we have brooms of flying.
Let's keep this moving forward, please.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because we only have another hour and a half of arc, so.
Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm getting distracted. But yeah. So she jumps on the broom. She gets over. She can be pretty much any sort of check involving those traps in the ground. She can just avoid. So it's for the most part straight shooting. When she gets to the second layer, it's a bit different. So the trees that are in there will move to attack her when she comes within range. She's able to kind of get a feel for this before she goes in. So with her amazing ranger abilities, she's able to sort of predict a route where she can avoid rather the bigger swings of the trees. So she's more aiming towards like the smaller hits that are easier to avoid, which she's able to successfully do. And she gets through that tier. The third tier and final tier, not so much. So she's flying over this one for the most part, okay. The wheat grass essentially is like this trap as well. I mean, it's all traps, but it's grass that kind of turns into like these daggers almost, and they will shoot up at you at like great speeds with just great velocity, huge numbers. And the first one she's able to avoid, it's like what, like it's like 300 feet basically across that she's having to just book it on this broom, and she's just dashing the whole way. Well, no, she tries to sort of make an effort the first time to try and avoid them, but then we get, and we're fairly successful, and then she gets knocked off. She gets hit, and she falls to the ground, and she is stabbed 1,000,000 times by 1,000,000 little daggers.
Yeah, you were hit multiple times before you fell.
Mm-hmm.
If those of you that know the term SAM, it stands for surface to air missile. Imagine like a blade of wheat with the point more akin to like a small dagger. Now imagine you're walking through a field like the Sound of Music.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's essentially what she fell on. It was fun times. She saw the gods for a little while. Actually, no, not yet. But so she got up, she got back in her broom, and this time instead of trying to actively dodge, she goes, "Fuck it, I'm almost there."
Let me interject something. She at this point rolled 2 failed death saves.
Yes.
And then rolled a nat 20.
Yeah.
Oh
Nice.
my god!
So you could say I was. Yeah.
If you didn't get that nat 20, that's where your journey would end.
Yeah.
Right then and there. I mean, it still ends in a later point, but at least it would end there. Then there. Keep going.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so that all happened. She got up, she continued going, she went, "Fuck it, I'm almost there." I was a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit overconfident with the roll 20, the nat 20. That got cut short very quickly as well, because she pretty much got shot down immediately. Because obviously she wasn't trying to dodge. She fell down, and obviously because the death saves don't disappear, she got a third death save.
Well, no, they do.
A third fail.
No, they do disappear.
No, I thought that, no, because I had 2, and then there was the third one I got from that.
No, when you get back up, they reset. Or else the game would be a lot harder.
Well, how did I get the 3 failed death saves then? Like 10 feet away from the end?
Well, you didn't get a third failed death save.
Was it just insta-death?
No, you didn't die.
Well, yeah, no, because remember, I had to use that,
Because Seton was there. You did not. I can tell you for a fact you did not. I mean, you could have died right then and there if you wanted.
Well, no, because remember, I got that one, and then I had to do. I used the Tome of Favors to pass the death save.
Yeah, you called it in instantaneously.
Yeah.
Because you were, I believe, on the sense of fuck this shit. I'm not dying here. I'm so close.
Yeah.
You didn't auto no death saves. Let me just make that clear to everyone right now. When you get back up at 1 HP, your death saves reset, which is why like injury tables exist, because some GMs are tired of people bouncing up and down from 0 to 1 to 0 to 1 to 0 to 1 without like any consequence, right? So when you get up at 1 HP with a nat 20, you are up at 1 and all your death saves reset.
Okay. That's fine. I remember. Yeah, that's fine. I don't remember that part. But anyway, remembering it wrong. Regardless, yeah, she's up. She's like 10 feet away from this area. Pretty much just gets over, and then it's like the area she sees where the shard is. It's like essentially this big amphitheater, and it's like you go down towards the center, and there's like 5. I want to say I've got this. I know I've got this like the word egg stuck in my head, but it's not an egg. You did describe it as an egg, but that's what I'm remembering it as. It's like a pod sort of thing, wasn't it?
Correct.
And it's like held up by this sort of like root sort of stand, I guess. And they're quite large as well. Like these aren't like small pods. She goes down. She has a look. She sort of notices that they are all hot to the touch, like body heat, kind of warm. The amphitheater is layered with different sort of how to describe it, like moons, sort of like got the half moon, quarter moon, full moon, that kind of thing. I believe Sunrises was in there as well, or is that a load of...
No, that's correct, or else this would
That's
be a
correct,
very weird
yeah.
place for the sun chart to be.
Yeah. So it was like this kind of thing going up and down sort of around in this sort of intricate design. There was this sort of dirt floor in the middle where all these pods were surrounding. And Anushka's original thought was that the shard was inside one of these pods. And her first thought was that there was a trap somewhere that if she picked the wrong one, something would happen. Seton then is sort of met up with her. He'd made it through relatively unscathed. Absolute bastard. And then they kind of started... He pretty much immediately was like, I don't think that's what it is. So it turns out that's actually where the druids were sleeping. They figure it, and that's why it's got the body heat. So whatever this place is keeping them alive, and the shard was what's powering it. So they pretty much quickly get together by trying to figure out, where the shard could be. And that is when Abriamov turns up again, the little slippery bastard. He turns up rather irritated. They both have a little... Him and Seton have a bit of a back and forth. I don't remember the specifics of what they're talking about, but they have a bit of a back and forth. And unfortunately, it's sort of... It gets physical. He pretty much makes a deal with Anushka. He will give her 5 minutes to find where the shard is. If she does not find the shard within 5 minutes, he is essentially going to kill her, and he is going to kill Seton. So, Seton and Abriam are off having a scuffle. Seton's trying to obviously kill him, but Abriam's kind of just dodging, weaving. I mean, he's a freaking vampire, right? So he's
to those of you
moving
that
like
have
a million
played
miles an hour.
the games, Abramov, he actually is from a preceding campaign, and he is a direct reference to Albert Wesker. So if you guys have ever seen how fast Wesker is,
That's why it's 5 minutes. Okay.
that's why it's 5 minutes, although Wesker says 7 in Resident Evil 5. And yes, he does talk like Wesker. 5 minutes is all.
Oh, that's
I can
why he
give
has the
you.
cool glasses.
That's why he has the cool glasses.
Ah.
Yeah, so you can thank the Wednesday people for why this bastard antagonist exists.
Well, thanks guys. Anyway. So yeah, so they're off.
No, I just said I just looked him up. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's pretty much like, oh shit. Immediately goes over to the pictures of like the moon rising, the sun rising, and all that, thinking maybe it's underneath a specific one of them. She sort of prats around there for like most of the time, to be honest, until it clicks that the pile of dirt is powering, like the roots basically that are connected to the pods are connected to the ground, and there is a power source below the ground because the ground is slightly warm. Almost like, that's where the source of power is. Unfortunately, she doesn't quite get there in time. The 5 minutes are up. And yeah, she only literally just makes it to the sort of dirt path when Ibrium pretty much has enough of waiting around and very promptly stabs Seton square in the chest, literally ripping out his heart and throwing it to the side. Anushka sees this, I guess, and, well, doesn't really she's taken aback, I guess, but very immediately just starts going, oh fuck, we need to, yeah. Immediately starts digging in the ground. And she finds the shard. Although she doesn't exactly get to it exactly at that point in time. Now, I believe that the series of events was Abrium goes to grab the shard, but Seton, with his last dying breath, and with the last of everything he has, is somehow able to activate the shard. I don't remember the specifics.
His heart was consumed by the soil, and his consciousness entered in with the grove.
That was it, okay. I couldn't remember the exact specifics. Okay. But yeah, so he sort of, did that. And activated the shard and created a small kind of burst of energy, I guess, which caused Abrium to recoil. Anushka is able to get a hold of the shard, and at that point in time, she's sort of lost on how to activate it. It is a shard of sunlight. What do you do with it? You know? So that kind of happens. There's a bit of an exchange then, a sort of standoff almost. Abrium, having losing his patience, pretty much gives an ultimatum: hand over the shard, and you can follow along with him, become one of him, I guess. Probably not, but you know. Or he can kill her right now. Anushka promptly refuses, because why would you? This guy is literally made of mosquitoes. Which I believe is revealed because his sunglasses fall off, and it's... No.
Yeah, you get to see him without his
Yeah.
glasses on. You can see what his eyes actually look like. Yeah.
Yeah, and not pretty. But yes, so he's getting pretty pissed off. His patience is worn thin. Anushka hesitates. By the deal. She's trying to think of some way out of what's happening, as well as trying to figure out how to fix the shard. And yeah, Abrium's not having any of it. And the next thing Anushka knows, her literal arm is across the other room. So he's pretty much ripped her arm off from like almost the shoulder part and just taken it away, flung it, and she's left profusely bleeding on the floor, bleeding out at the same time. And at this point, adrenaline just hits. She is going to die. There's nothing she can do about it until she realizes that there is a chance. There is a chance that she could potentially ignite that shard in a similar way that Seton did, with the last bit of her. If this is the last thing she's going to do, this is what it's going to be. She is going to burn that vampire to ashes. So she does that. She connects to the shard in a very similar way. She almost has like it's like Ghost Lib or something, where she could sort of feel the connection to the arm.
I mean, the Grove literally connected your arm to your arm to your body with vine work. So
yeah.
Like,
so in that kind of
dozens
sense,
of feet of vine and root.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that happens. She's able to connect with it via that, and she activates the shard in a similar way to the way Seton did. The only thing is, it's not quite as powerful as what she'd hoped. It burns him. It fucking hurts him. He's probably going to be scarred for life. But he does start healing. He does start healing. And Anushka's on death's door. You know, this vampire is going to win. What does she do in this situation? And I mean, her aspirant was literally persistence. So even if it fucking kills her, she is going to kill this bastard. And look at that, her broom of flying is within reach. The Abrium begins just fucking off. He's still like screaming in pain from his burns from the sunlight. He's clambered up over the amphitheater, so he's a good distance above her. There is no way she's going to get to him in time. She is losing a lot of blood. She is on death's door, literally. Like, there's no way she's going to make it up there. But then look at that! On the ground, not too far away, is her trusty broom of flying. Just sitting there, waiting for another use, give it a wee pat. So she grabs that one last time for one last big push. So she grabs the broom, and she just starts just flying as fast as she possibly can. She has to let go of the broom, of course, because she's only got one arm, in order to grab her old arm with the shard in it. She takes hold of the shard, and she just bursts up with literally the last bit of energy she has. Like, she's accepted that it's gonna happen. She has barely got any blood left. She's barely even conscious. There's nothing much she can do about that. But she's gonna kill this fucker. So with every bit she has, she puts every bit of effort to aim this shard, this little bloody bit of daylight, into this arsehole's chest. And she's going full power, full tilt, and she makes it. She stabs him square in the chest. A big burst of light just comes forth. I believe it pretty much cleanses like the entire area of vampires, I think, at this point, of like corruption.
Correct. There's a reason why Seton was looking for that fucking thing. It was one of the last hopes to save the world.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. She manages that. She pretty much just... He's gone. And she kind of collapses to the ground. Yeah. And that's kind of it. She does what she plans to do. She's completed her hunt, as it were. She's contented. For all it's worth. So yeah, she slowly passes out into unconsciousness and embraces her death, I suppose. But yeah.
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 Then there you have it.
Yeah. Or is it? Because that was the...
I was juggling if you did or did not complete your aspiring path, because gods above, you are in no capacity to move. You are... You've probably done the equivalencies of 7 different blood drives in 1 hour. You're missing a limb. If you bring Anushka back, she will not be the same.
I mean,
She'll
yeah.
be cooler.
And let it be known, like, oh, you guys are talking about, oh, cool, robot arm. There is nothing better than the biomechanism that is your arm, and when it comes to how fast and efficient it is. I will say that right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, having your arm is infinitely better than having a prosthesis, right?
I know,
Because
that's what we were talking about
it's-
yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Right, it's just like, oh, my arm, I've known it all my life, right?
Yep.
It is
Good
way
old
better.
trusty arm. Trusty
So-
leg.
Gift from me mother.
It is up to you, Kirsty, if Anushka is alive or dead or not. But just
I
know
want her
that
alive.
then you're gonna have some problems. You can bring your arm with you, but I already consulted medical expert O on the topic as to what happens for this sort of shit. And he even had put in like the best experts on YouTube. He's put in gameplay connotations to it as well. He's truly the best on that. But we'll get there when we get there. That took that story took a while, and we have Alec for only like another hour, so hour and 20. So let's keep this train rolling.
Can Alec go next?
I
Because
was about to ask the
technically
same.
I'm next, but I really don't... I don't want to rush my own story, and I don't want him to have to rush his in order to get it in before he has to leave.